Morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Sammy, United People's TV. It's Wednesday. We're nearly done with the international break. And then we've got to prepare for another one in 4 weeks. And then we've got to prepare for another one in 8 weeks. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But that's what happens at the start of every season. September, October, November. 3 consecutive international breaks. But United back in action at 12:30 on Saturday. Right? So we've got the early kickoff. Will it be a good thing? Will it be a bad thing? Ask me at 3 on Saturday. Right? But I'm going to run through the international break. Can I say first and foremost here, we have gone through a whole international break, as far as I can see, with no injuries. Famous last words, Sam. But I don't think we got any. Speak about Ugarte playing 90 minutes for Uruguay, Angel Gomes for England last night, Kobbie Mainoo getting a rest. We'll speak about Ligt in the Netherlands. He's having a struggle. This concept of Ten Hag's 3-point plan to transform Manchester United. I'm going to read through the article that Chris Wheeler released. And you can fire any comments, any questions throughout the show, as you always do. Who's here from the mod and the member gang? Good morning to you, Vicky and Carl and Ant. I can see you there. T, saw you start the show. JVD, how you doing, buddy? Josh, as always. And we've got Paul Modstead, we've got Tyrell, we've got C-Bomb. Don't be dropping C-Bombs in the comments. Matt, we've got Stephanie, we've got Natasha, and we've got JC. How you doing, everyone? On Facebook, we've got Danny Eames, we've got CJ Shooter, we've got Tursug and Enzo. Really like the name Enzo. Cool name. Anyway, as I said, fire in your comments and your questions, and I will try and answer and interact with as many of you as I possibly can. All right? Now, first things first, can we just point and laugh? Can we just point and laugh at Newcastle? Thank you. All the shtick we got from them over Dan Ashworth and the delays over him joining as our sporting director. And then he eventually joined, and I believe he joined for around about 3 million. That's what The Athletic reported on their podcast. And then they got Paul Mitchell in, which I actually thought was a pretty good appointment. Something didn't connect well at all behind the scenes at Newcastle this season. Whether it was Eddie, so this is the Telegraph here reporting that there was a dispute really between Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell and the sort of Newcastle structure and the strategy behind the transfers. Of course, they chased Mark Gahey for like 70 mil and didn't get him. And then the report came out that they tried to go after Anthony Elanga for 50 mil. And I was like, what? Anyway, they didn't get any of them. And they did not have a good summer. So it's such a shame to see Newcastle struggling like that. Well, you shouldn't have spent so much time digging your heels in over Dan Ashworth, because you may well have given yourself a lot more time with Paul Mitchell. I mean, not that those two things were directly correlated because Dan Ashworth was on gardening leave, but it's just such a shame to see. No one likes to see it, apart from me, who absolutely love to see it. Sodom. Anyway, if you haven't dropped a like on the video already, you will after seeing that photo. There's a photo that Helen Evans dropped yesterday on Twitter. I think she was helping, or she was one of the presenters for like Sir Alex Ferguson's golf day, which I think he holds every year. It's like an annual charity event. Hey, Fergie looks good, man. Fergie looks healthy. Big beaming smile on his face. Good colour in his face. Man, if I ever get a chance to meet him, woo. I think I've met. I remember when Van Gaal was manager, and I went to Carrington. And I met them all. I didn't really get maybe Rooney. I'm trying to think of any players I've been starstruck by. I met quite a few of them. Not a brag or anything, but I have. Fergie and Cantona. I wouldn't know what to do with either of those two. I would come up with all these ideas in my head, and I'd just be like, "Can I have a photo?" Yeah, good. Anyway, big up Fergie, man. It's great to see him like that. Let's move on to the internationals, and there's quite a few talking points. I think it should be an interesting show this morning. Right, last night, England breezing past Finland, who operated with a massively deep block. 2-0, Harry Kane getting a double on his 100th cap in the game where he earned his 100th cap. All right. Breen, I'm going to be speaking about De Ligt in a little bit. I'm just going to run through the internationals here. But first and foremost, can we just say, held to the yes, Kobbie Mainoo got a rest. Don't know why I made a little poem up there, but I did. by accident. Mainu was left on the bench and he did not play at all. So a full rest for Kobbie Mainoo, which means he played during the international break against Ireland. Then Angel Gomes started this game. We're going to speak about Angel Gomes next, but I was really, really keen for Kobbie to get a rest. And I'll be honest, between now and next international break, I only want to see Kobbie Mainoo play once a week. I want to see him start against Southampton and get rested against Barnsley. I want to see him start against Spurs and then rested against Twente. And there's another. Oh, no, sorry. Start against Palace and then rested against Twente and then start against Spurs. He definitely. I completely disagree, Connor. You're saying Kobbie looks like he needs minutes. It's the opposite of what he needs, man. Kobbie looks like he's being overplayed. Fatigue is kicking in. And things that he was making look so simple before are starting to become a little bit leggy. And it's just simply for the fact that the 19-year-old has played 2-3 times a week, every week, for a long old time. All right? I'm glad that he got a rest. And Angel Gomes got the opportunity to come in instead of him. And did he take advantage of that opportunity? I'm not just saying from a stat perspective, but this is just an overview of his game. Like 116 passes. Jeez. Angel had the ball a lot. Now, as I said, Finland did operate in quite a deep formation, so there wasn't too much pressure on the ball from him. But it's just, I'm really happy for Angel Gomes to see what he did there. The only reason, realistically, that he's been brought into the international team environment is because Lee Carsley's the interim manager. Lee Carsley, who was the England under-21 boss, when Gomes was part of that squad, well, they won the under-21 Euros. And he just had a really good game. And I think I said this last week. We had a conversation around Angel Gomes. And I really do think, in fact, I'd almost be shocked if Manchester United didn't make an approach to bring Angel Gomes in when Christian Eriksen leaves. All right. Now, of course, there's massive question marks about. He literally is the size of a can. He's such a small player. It's ridiculous. You look at him and go, he's not good. But he was actually pretty decent in the duel yesterday. He's the profile, if we're going to specifically speak about profile, the profile of Angel Gomes is different to Kobbie Mainoo. Angel really is one of the deeper lying playmakers. Receive the ball from the defence, turn, face, find a teammate. That's who Angel Gomes is. That's the style of midfielder that Angel Gomes is. And again, I think that really ticks the replacement of Christian Eriksen. Lone Wolf, to a certain degree, like size doesn't matter, of course. The example that all United fans are going to be going towards is Paul Scholes. Everyone wrote him off in the youth teams, and yeah, well, that was a mistake. Yeah, Matt, I'm not here suggesting that Angel Gomes cannot make it because he's small and diminutive. I'm saying that he's going to get written off by a lot of people because he's small and diminutive, in the same way that João Neves was written off by a lot of fans, whereas in reality, he's extremely strong in his own frame and very good in the duel. It makes a lot of sense. Not just for the fact that Angel Gomes would be free. Although, I'll be honest, that plays a part of it. Like, I don't think we're not going to stumble across hundreds and hundreds of millions next summer. This summer was all about making sure we didn't breach the rules. Next summer, we'll go halfway. We'll be able to spend a bit more, but ultimately, if there's opportunities in the market, we're going to have to take them. And Angel Gomes, I think this is definitely worth a mini documentary video, but not yet. Just the mental fortitude to leave Manchester United. I think he was 19 when he did. Go to France for 5 years and just to keep plugging away and keep developing, I think is a real testament to him. Nice little interview here as well with ITV after the game. Just so you sort of just hearing from Angel Gomes.
Yeah, my dad, he messaged me this morning at 4 in the morning. He couldn't sleep. He said he almost felt like he was playing, and they're just as happy for me. This call up for me is a reflection of everyone that's helped me along the way, whether it's school teachers, friends, family. It's all for them. They're all part of this journey with me, so I can't be any happier.
And now to make sure you're selected again and again.
Yeah, that's the aim. Consistency with your team, and you see what happens then with the rest.
Well done.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
I'm really happy for him, man. Certain players, they take that risk. They leave England, they leave the Premier League, and I've compared it to, I think Jadon Sancho did really well with that, with what he did at Dortmund, and Jude Bellingham is the king example of it. I could really see Angel Gomes coming into Manchester United's midfield squad and offering something that currently we don't actually have inside our midfielders. And I think he'd want to come back to Manchester United. He's clearly a significantly developed player. Lee Carsley is probably one of his biggest fans. And yeah, I was just really, really impressed with that performance last night. So do not be surprised, in my opinion. And don't be surprised in January either, by the way. Because it could well be that Lille, depending on what Lille do this season, and probably depending on whether Lille go through in the Champions League or not. I'm pretty sure Lille are in the Champions League. If Lille don't qualify for the second stage, and in fact, that won't happen before the end of the Champions. That doesn't even happen now. Because I think because of the extra 2 games, the Champions League or group stage doesn't end until the end of January, does it? Anyway, you get what I mean. Angel Gomes, definitely one to watch in terms of Manchester United building a squad. Would he be enough in isolation? No, not at all. But in my opinion, I can see a lot of logic to Eriksen leaving, Gomes coming in as a replacement on a free, and then Manchester United being able to go big and spend big on getting rid of Casemiro and bringing in a Casemiro replacement. And therefore, you're looking at somebody to replace Casemiro. And if that happens next season, you would look at midfield options of Ugarte, Manu, Gomes, whoever the Casemiro replacement is, and Collier, which is a massive upgrade on what we've got right now. People seem to really like the fact that I called him, or actually not like the fact that I called him a can, size of a can. But makes him very difficult to get off the ball. Very good in tight situations. Lightning saying he's in the last year of his contract. We can get him for cheap on a free. As part of, when they speak about market opportunities, Angel Gomes is definitely one of them, man. But yeah, let's move on to the next conversation, because in the immediate term, what Manuel Ugarte has been doing during this international break is of more importance to us United fans. All right? My lunchtime video today is going to be on Manuel Ugarte. How can he help change Manchester United? Because we need change. All right? We need change in this midfield. Will he be able to transform Manchester United straight away? No, I don't think he will be able to. All right? But yesterday, Ugarte completed the full 90 minutes. It was a 0-0 draw between Venezuela and Uruguay. And by the way, though, look at the numbers, right? 34 passes he completed. Angel Gomes, that's the wrong one. Jeez, where's it? Too many tabs, many tabs. There we go. He completed 34 passes. Angel Gomes completed 116. Just goes to show you how much he was on the ball. But Ugarte is... So many people are really, really hanging on to this as some sort of stick to beat Erik Ten Hag with. Believe it was before the Liverpool game when he said, look, Manuel Ugarte hasn't played in the season so far. He needs to build his fitness. He didn't even say he's not fit. He can't start. He just said he needs to build his fitness. It might take weeks, it might take months. People are just holding on to the fact that Ten Hag said it might take months before, and they're taking it now and twisted the words that Ten Hag has said that Ugarte might not be ready for months, and here he is going out playing 90 minutes for Uruguay. Ten Hag's a joker. Ten Hag's an idiot. Whereas in reality, Ugarte, after 78 minutes in the first game against Paraguay, looked a bit tired. Completed the full 90 minutes there. He'll be a bit tired, but it's good to see him completing a 90 minutes. Really good. 90 minutes and 78 minutes. I think it's pretty much as good as we could have asked for, really. I'll tell you what, the international break, as I said, no injuries. Bruno scored. Dalot scored. Ugarte got 90 minutes and 78 minutes. Mainu got minutes and then got a rest in the second game. It's cool to see Angel Gomes playing there. That's not really going to affect us right now, but Ugarte. And there's one little bit here. I hope I don't get shut down for copyright. Probably will. Right? This situation here, I'm gonna run through it in my lunchtime video too. But this is Ugarte here. I won't play it. I'll just kind of play through it a little bit. That's Ugarte there, right? And the ball. Sorry, I'll play it, all right? Sorry. Sorry, I got disgusted by the music. Anyway, right. This is Ugarte here. Just watch this quick move, right? Receives the ball on the edge of the box. Quick shift over there. Skips past his man. And in this situation here, because so many people are saying that Ugarte isn't progressive, cannot be... And I'm saying it's a concern of mine that he won't be able to progress the ball forward too much. Boom. A lovely ball into space in behind. I think that's Pellistri, actually. There's more to... sorry. Sorry about that noise. Caught me out as well. All right, caught us all out. Ugarte improved his fitness. And I just think that little example there, and I'll pull out another couple of examples in the lunchtime video. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. The thing is that we need Ugarte. We need him. And that environment is a pressure boiler situation. It's not really the environment you want to bring in somebody to make their debut. But it's I hope he can have the impact that we want him to have. But everybody just be prepared to let him ease in. And I'll be honest, looking at the games that we've got now, people are going to be like, oh, San Antonio against Venezuela. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, we're playing newly promoted Southampton on Saturday. Right, fine. Although it's always more difficult in the Premier League. But we've got Southampton, then we've got Barnsley. Personal expectation, probably won't see him in the starting 11. Maybe he will, we don't know. But he will certainly make his debut against Southampton. And I imagine he'll start against Barnsley. And we'll see. Then we'll see what you're saying down here. We need Ugarte to make a mark here. We absolutely do. We're kind of desperate, really, for that. What we need, right? And again, that's why I'm looking at Angel Gomes, and I think the profile and what we really desperately need in midfield, in possession anyway. Out of possession, you know where our problems are, and that's where Ugarte can really be a bit of a monster. Winning the ball back, duels, covering the space, great. But in possession, what we really need is kind of the opposite of what I just showed you here, right? This pass, that pass there from Ugarte, it was great, fantastic. But what we truly need is somebody who doesn't just desperately look as far forward as possible and get the ball as quickly as possible up towards the opposition's goal. What we need is somebody who can just simply recycle possession. It might be boring. But I tell you what, we simply still haven't been able to consistently control games of football. And that is why. We are so seemingly uncomfortable at playing around with the ball in our own half. Well, comfortable enough doing it around the back four when there's absolutely no threat. But I'm talking about this area of the pitch here. Man, United are so uncomfortable playing with the ball around there. Just knocking it sideways, knocking it through little spaces, trying to pull the opposition apart. Because unless they got a high press, you won't be able to break them apart. If they're in a mid-block, that's where United are really, really struggling. And that is, in my opinion, a massive reason why we still haven't been able to control games of football. And that's what I ultimately want to see Ugarte helping with the most. That's what I think. What you're saying down here, a Busquets kind of player. Ugarte's not a Busquets. It was almost awkward to watch at the start, Busquets, but he grew into just a phenomenal machine. Like the ball stuck to his foot. Man, people still saying I said Mainoo got arrested. Did I really say arrested or got a rest? I think you're just putting words in my mouth. I'll be totally honest. Stephen's saying, can you give my Mrs. Dion a shout out? We're due to give birth to our baby on the 28th of November. Congratulations to Dion and Stephen. You name him Sam? Probably shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't. All right. Build your mindset. I prefer Zubimendi over Ugarte. Well, you should probably go and watch Real Sociedad then, mate. There you go. Steve saying, can we afford to lose any more points in the league? Steve, we played 3 games. We're not at, oh, this is a must-win or he's going to get sacked sorts. And that's what people are frustrated and they've reached that point because of 2 losses in a row. But it's the 3rd game in the league, man. No, not at all. Oh, man. JC, you gifting 50 memberships down there. Jeez. We'll give one to Dion and Stevens, son or daughter, when they come in. Get New Reading Town. Oh, man. Thank you so much, man. JC, you've been an absolute legend in supporting the channel. Should I? No, I forgot. I was going to show you one of the other comic strip posters, but I forgot to put it in a frame. Got more frames coming today, and then I'll put them in a frame. And I'll show you a little bit later, but they're going to be coming quite soon. I can't wait to show you all 3 of them. Connor, little comment there saying, I hate how physical football is now. Games have 8 centre-backs and everyone is obsessed with athleticism. Bring back the days of Xavi and Iniesta running games. You seen that trend that's going around this week? It's like, what was it? Something about something about 2000s. It was just, I can't remember exactly what it is. Barclaysman, I think that's what it is. Football is so much like kind of what you're saying there. Football is so much more athletic now than it used to be. You got fullbacks with 6-packs. Whereas back in the day, you could have a little cheeky pop, little pop belly you can poke. Boop, 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 boop. Just footballers were very good footballers, but they weren't necessarily very good athletes. Some were, some weren't. But now, and the game is so much more intense for so much longer. People are angry because they think that creativity and individualism has left the game a little bit. It's certainly not as important now as it was before because athleticism is so much higher. As I said, like everyone's shredded. Everyone's ridiculous. Everyone can run like 12, 14 kilometers a game. Sprints everywhere. The pace is nuts. But that's just the way the game's gone. The game has got faster. The players have become more athletes. Yeah, it is what it is. But speaking of which, it's exactly what Ugarte is. Dude's got an engine. Dude will be able to run the full 90 and he won't tire in the way that other players like Casemiro's legs look like they're made of lead after like the 50th minute. That's not Ugarte. Yeah, Stevie's saying elite means elite living, and that's something that Erik Ten Hag said quite a lot when he came in. He goes, to be a professional footballer at the top level now, you have to live and breathe the sport. That means you turn up to training, but you go home and you eat well. You do things in the evening that are not going to adversely affect you. You go to bed at a decent time. You get the full 8 hours and you come back in. It's a full commitment. Back in the day, they might have been able to sneak off, have a little cheeky Marlboro Red, couple of pints, probably still do all right the weekend. If you tried that now, you're probably going to throw up on the sideline. That's just, football's developed and it changes. Did I prefer it in the 90s? Look, I was a kid when I grew up in the 90s. Of course, the 90s will always be the best for me. And also, United were pretty damn good. All those three things combined means, yes, I will always miss the 90s. Plus, man, the music. Anyway, 2000s had some good bits, had some bad bits. Football changes. Just in the way same way it changed from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s. Do I prefer it previously? Well, yeah, United have been crap for 10 years, so I definitely preferred it previously. And saying what you're saying is Ugarte is Fred, but can also pass too. No, dude. Fred, I loved Fred, all right? Fred was so almost irresponsible with the ball when he won it back. He was very good at winning the ball back, but then trying to find a teammate. You go, ugh, that's not what Ugarte does. Ugarte is somebody who you can consistently rely on to not only win the ball, but find a teammate. Keep possession. Very good at winning it. Very good at maintaining it. Anyway, let's speak about the international break. It wasn't good for everyone. Yesterday, Ligt had a bit of a mare in the Dutch game. I say a bit of a mare. When you're a defender or when you're a goalkeeper and you make an unforced error, a lot of the times it leads to goals. And that's what happened against Germany. You got a pass cut out. 2 passes went around the defence, came back out. And I think it was... was it Dennis Undav? Can't remember his name. I think it was Undav. Anyway, scored. And he got taken off at half-time by Koeman. Now, with, again, any Dutchies in the comments, asked you about Xerxes the other week. Why is it that Koeman's consistently overlooked De Ligt for, is it De Vrij? Is it because he's less comfortable playing in a back three? Yeah, I'm not saying that De Ligt was completely responsible for the goal, by the way, because there were still 3 or 4 passes and things that happened before the goal went in for Germany. But Koeman hooked him off at half-time. I don't really... I'm guessing it's because of the system. Do Holland still play, or Netherlands still play with 3 at the back? I don't know. It might just be that Koeman prefers him, De Vrij to De Ligt, sorry. I always call him is it Stefan De Vrij? I always call him Stuff in the Fridge. I don't know why, but that every time I've ever seen his name, I just called him that. De Ligt's not really got a place in that team, I think, whilst Koeman is manager. You know, in the same way that, well, yeah, it just happens. Doesn't mean that De Ligt is an awful player, man, at all. He'll come back. And he will be better for it playing at United. Oh, don't tell me that's not how you pronounce Koeman. I'm sticking with it. All right, go away. Argentina yesterday. Lisandro Martinez started but played left back. I think he got 65 minutes under his belt. But Colombia won, 2-1. I think that means that... I think Argentina is still top of the qualifying group. And by the way, Brazil lost again to Paraguay, 1-0. They're like 1 point or 2 points ahead of Bolivia in the South American qualifiers. They're probably going to be qualifying still. I think it's like 6 or 7 from the South American whole. There's only one big league, and like 6 of them qualify. So they're going to go through, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, Garnacho didn't play at all. He was left on the bench. Ahmad, I think it was over here. He got about around 25 minutes game time. Good. Fine. Ahmad's fit. And as I said, no injuries. So I think as far as international breaks go, that was pretty spot on for United. I said you got a goal for Bruno, you got a goal for Delot, you got a goal for Xerxes, and an assist in his first start for the Netherlands. Manu got a rest. Maguire played in the first game, didn't get played in the second game. Don't really know. Anyway, good. But international break, bog off. Hate them. We all hate them. You wait so long for the season, and then you start the season with 2 losses out of 3, and then you go on a 2-week international break. You're like, but let's speak about football. Let's speak about going forward, and let's have a little conversation here about this article from Chris Wheeler in the Daily Mail. Okay. Obviously, I'm signed up to Daily Mail Plus. So you don't have to be. Drop a like on the video for that. Erik Ten Hag has drawn up a 3-pronged plan to get United out of the rut. All right, let's see what he's suggesting down here. Ten Hag is urging his players to be nastier. All right, down here. United manager has called on the squad to be more aggressive from front to back to avoid conceding any more soft goals. Now, partly, I completely agree with that. But I don't mean that United need to be more aggressive when it comes to man marking. Okay? So I hope the suggestion here is not the return to that aggressive high front press. Be aggressive in the duels when the space is correct, when your position is correct. Sure. Be far more aggressive shoulder to shoulder. Sure. But do not be aggressive for the sake of being aggressive. Don't just run around screaming at players trying to get the ball up. No. Be aggressive in the duel. That's what United need to be. By the way, look how many adverts on a Daily Mail website. It's ridiculous. Deb. Anyway, down here. Ten Hag wants to have more possession, telling his players to protect the ball better to control games. I mean, duh. Yeah. Obviously. We've all known that. I know that. You know that. And that is something that Ugarte is going to help in. Probably won't be able to do it from the start. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think he will. Shouldn't be able to do it from the start against Southampton. Probably not Barnsley. So you're probably looking at Crystal Palace away, where maybe the first game that we can say, oh, Ugarte's fit to play, and we can hopefully expect a little bit more control on the ball. Because it's still eluded us, man. Massively. Yeah, revolutionary stuff, Chetan, indeed. But this is what we need. I said at the start of the season when it was like, this is how Ten Hag makes his Man United 2.0, and that was at the core of it. Not that just have possession for the sake of possession, passing it round. You know, like Van Gaal had possession for the sake of possession. It's being able to build through that possession by drawing your opposition out of their shape. That's what the best teams can do in possession. It's not just about having the ball. Oh, come and get it off us. You operate close enough to their structure that they think, oh, I can step out of this. I can probably win the ball back. But never mind. You've just lured them into a false sense of security. Pass, and you go into the space that they've now vacated. So you need to bait the press. That's what we need to do in possession. And then number 3 down here, what else does he say? Ten Hag has been drumming it into his players that they need to be more positionally aware, highlighting the importance of good positioning and cutting out silly mistakes and unnecessary goals. I mean, yes. That Brighton one, man, was so ridiculous. You know how everyone was pointing fingers at individuals for, they're the problem, but they're the problem, they're the problem. In reality, I think there were 8 players between João Pedro and whoever put the ball into him for the Brighton winner. And all 8 of them were looking directly at the ball and directly at the players that were in front of them. Nobody was looking at the 2 players at the back post going, over here, man. I don't need to shout. There's nobody around me. I'm over here in acres of space. That's so frustrating. Yeah, Robert, it's not really common sense. It's just in the moment. So I imagine Man United train and do this all the time. And they're probably quite good at it in training and everything. But as soon as they get into a moment and an environment where they're having to focus on other things, it's like their mind goes blank. And all the things they got taught have gone out of one ear, and they're just focusing on what they can see in front of them. And that's just poor. That's not how you develop as a player. And that's what you have to be able to do as an elite athlete, elite footballer, is cope with those pressure moments exactly at the time when you need to cope with them. 90th minute. Team bearing down on you. Remember what you were doing in the first minute. Exactly that. The simples and the basics go out the window. It's boring. And you're saying, Danny, you have to question why Ten Hag's having to go back to things you learned as a kid. And I've spoken about this before. You know how bored I am, honestly, how bored I am of having to talk about United retaining possession, United winning the duels, United covering the back post. It's like come on. Like, these are fundamentals of football. How on earth is a lot of these just not subconscious to you by now? Seriously. But they're not. So we can't really talk about the level, even the level like 3 and the level 4 stuff, because we're still stuck down doing the basics wrong. It's boring. That's where the progress is stumbling still. Now I'm going to speak about my Southampton starting 11 a little bit later in the week. I'll probably do it tomorrow. All right. See what you're saying down here in the comments. Oh, hey, you're saying we are playing a team that has 0 points in the Prem. Forgive me for being passionate, but this is a must-win game. End of. Ugarte, Eriksen, and Bruno. Eriksen. I think Eriksen played in the first game for Denmark in the international break. I don't know whether he played the second. Mainu's just had a rest, so Mainu's obviously going to be in that team. Bruno's fitness, you know what he's like. It's not a must-win game. Like, for maybe it is for some of you. In reality, it's not a must-win game. I've already explained where my thought process is, all right? My mindset I'm trying to think in the same way I think that Ineos will be approaching this. And they're not going to be looking at this Southampton, it's a must-win game, or he's going to get sacked, we're going to boot him out and get Ruud van Nistelrooy in. I think they're looking at between now and November. I told you that third international break, the start of it, I think that's when they're going to be like, this is our deadline. If between now and then you really haven't showed this continued progress, step by step, 3% better than you were last week, 5% better than you were the week before, 10% better than you were 2 weeks ago. If they can't see that, I think they will consider replacing him. But as much as people are going to say that this is a must-win game because we lost the 2 before, I don't think it is. However, we absolutely need the win. All right? To turn this momentum around. Well, we haven't got any momentum now. James saying you're going to have a different energy if we lose Saturday. If we lose Saturday, I'm going to be pissed. In my immediate match reaction, I'm going to be fuming. All right? And of course, right? And I said this as well in my video. If United go on and lose our next 4 or 5 games in a row, things change, all right? Just like with any manager. If Arteta goes and loses his next 7 games in a row, there's going to be people calling for him. Any manager loses that many games in a row, it doesn't matter how you are. Probably Pep Guardiola is the only one who can get away with it. The pressure, maybe Arne Slot because he's just come into Liverpool, but the pressure is just going to be on. And the only way you stop that pressure is by winning. I understand that. But yeah, it's playing away from home against newly promoted teams, I don't think will ever be a pushover game. If Southampton are going to stay up, if Ipswich are going to stay up, they have to win their home games. Simply put, that's how these teams are going to stay up. First season back in the Premier League, it's all about just pure survival mode. And those 19 games you have at home, they are your most important. We also, by the way, play Ipswich away from home with another early kickoff, I think, after the next international break. But of course, we've got Palace away coming after this. Then we've got Spurs at home. And then we've got Villa away. There are no easy games in the Premier League, and there shouldn't be. It's the top 20 teams in the country. And that's something that has definitely developed. You talk about how football's changed, right? Football back in the day, in my opinion, still the peak of the Premier League was 97 to 2003. That 6-year period where it was Arsenal and United, just two elite teams, elite managers. In my opinion, the two best managers in the Premier League. You could probably put Pep Guardiola up in that conversation now, but Pep is definitely above Arsene Wenger. Anyway, two of the best. Henry against Van. It was the prime. But you looked at the rest of the quality in the Premier League, it was a drop-off. It was a definite drop-off. Going past even the top four, there was quite a clear drop-off. Now in the Premier League, there is just quality throughout. Brighton spent £200 million this summer. All right? And they signed well. The Premier League now, from top to bottom, and I'm not saying there aren't games that United should be winning. And truth be told, we should be winning this game. All right? I'm not going to come with excuses saying, but we should be winning this game. But it will not be easy. There are no easy games. There are no given games anymore in the Premier League. And that's just something United have to deal with. They have to deal with the expectation of being the favourite and delivering. What else are you saying down here? You never spoke about Onana and Cameroon. Yeah, I forgot about that. I think Onana got 2 clean sheets with Cameroon. And I think there was a video going around. There's something, I don't know, after the game. Didn't look that much dangerous. Every game is a must-win, right? But you're all putting that in the reason that lots of you are saying it's a must-win is because a lot of you are suggesting that Erik Ten Hag is going to get sacked if he doesn't beat Southampton, which I think is completely false. I don't think that's going to happen. So in that sense, I don't think it's a must-win. But in terms of shifting the momentum and starting and getting some confidence back in, then yeah, it's a must-win in that sense, if you want to call it that. But I don't think it's a must-win because if he doesn't, Erik Ten Hag's going to get sacked, all right? That's the point I'm trying to make. Jibak saying, Sam, by which season do you think we will be a consistent top 3 side again? Do you think Ten Hag will be around to make that happen? Top 3 right now is what? Arsenal, City, and probably Liverpool. Boy. Once we've had 2, like if we nail next summer, our squad is going to have such strength in genuine depth and quality throughout. I think after 3 consecutive really good summers, Manchester United can be considered and should be considered and should be a consistent top 3 team again. That's what I think. Right. Right. I can't be bothered with these comments down here, man. Mate, you can see, like, Stephen, you're constantly, 90% of your comments, all you do is try and stoke the fire. It's like you write for the Manchester Evening News. So I don't read them. If you don't like that, that's fine, my man. You're just going to have to deal with it. And there's a comment you just put down there, which caught my eye. Talking about, United fans are divided. And it's exactly what the media want. And they go, throw another grenade out there. Oh, let's just watch that. Hey, once you see that? Should we go? Oh, there's another grenade. Go on then. Great. It's Man United. Hated, adored, never ignored. And that is so, so true, man. That's why I'm going to be doing my video on, just like the media narrative. I think the word agenda is probably getting a little bit overused, but the media narrative. All right. Anyway, so tomorrow I'm going to be doing my starting 11 video on Southampton. Today, I'm going to focus on this man here, Manuel Ugarte, and how he can come in and help change United. I don't think he'll be able to transform United straight away. And I'm going to try and not use that word in the same way I've used it with other players before, because that's blown up in my face. But Ugarte can certainly bring some change that we need in midfield. All right. Thank you all for tuning in today, as always. If you can, please do drop a like in the video. Yeah. United fans are a bit divided now. There was a positive to take from the Fulham game. It should have been like 3 or 4-0 that game. There were frustrations to take from that Brighton game. And the heads just dropped and everything went out the window after the offside goal for the Xerxes slide. Then Liverpool, we just got walloped. Southampton, we'll speak about it tomorrow. All right? Take it easy.